Can I ask you something? Where are you in your cycle right now? Because if you are in the second half and Ramadan feels like it is hitting differently this year, heavier, foggier, harder to stay present, that is not a coincidence. And this video will show you exactly why. Let me give you a quick foundation, and I'm going to keep this really simple. Your menstrual cycle has 4 phases. The one I want to focus on today is called the Wudu phase. This is the second half of your cycle, roughly days 15 to 28 if you have a 28-day cycle. It comes right after ovulation. After ovulation, your body produces a hormone called progesterone. Progesterone's whole job is to prepare your body and your uterus in case pregnancy has occurred. And in doing that job, your body's actual energy demands increases. Your basal metabolic rate, the number of calories your body burns just to function, goes up. Your body is working harder than it does in the first half of your cycle. This is also the phase where many women experience what we often call PMS. Fatigue, brain fog, mood shifts, difficulty sleeping, food cravings, bloating. These are all connected to hormonal changes happening in this phase. Now, take all of that and add fasting in Ramadan on top of it. A 13, 14, or sometimes 15-hour fast. A very shortened window to eat and sleep. Imagine a body that is already in its highest demand phase of the month. And when you see it laid out like that, so much of what you've been feeling starts to make sense. Let me walk you through what Wudu phase symptoms actually look like during Ramadan, because I want you to be able to recognize yourself in it. Brain fog and poor concentration. Progesterone has a naturally sedating effect on the nervous system, combined with the drop of blood glucose that happens during fasting. Your brain is simply not operating at its full capacity. This is why you might sit down with the Quran and read an ayat nearly 3 times or even more, and nothing is landing. Your brain is in a different mode right now. Symptoms may also look like fatigue that sleep does not fix. You might be getting your sleep hours in, but waking up for suhoor still feeling completely drained. Progesterone increases your need for rest. And Ramadan interrupted sleep patterns, especially for mothers, makes this compound very quickly. Wudu phase symptoms can also show up as emotional sensitivity. Your cortisol reactivity is higher. That means the way you react to certain things is different. Any small frustration feels much bigger. You might find yourself crying in dua and feeling overwhelmed by things that usually wouldn't shake you. I actually want to come back to this one because there is something very important in it that we often miss. Symptoms can also show up as physical discomfort, bloating, lower back pressure, headaches. Standing for Tarawih, when your body is experiencing these symptoms after a full day of fasting, can be genuinely hard. Allah sees the effort behind the action. And I want to say this clearly. When you are worshiping in the body that is in this state, that effort carries weight that only Allah can measure. And remember that fasting is for Allah. He only knows what and how much is going to reward you based on your effort. He definitely sees what it costs you to show up. Okay, so now that you understand what is actually happening, let me give you something to actually work with. Because no matter what the action is, the other half is what we do with it. So I've given you the information. How do you actually use that information to make sense to you and to the situation of fasting and going through your menstrual cycle? So let's start with food. What you eat in the eating window directly affects how your body handles the Wudu phase during fasting. I want you to focus on 3 main things at suhoor. That's protein, healthy fats, and magnesium. Protein and healthy fats slows down glucose release, so your blood sugar stays more stable throughout the fast. This directly reduces brain fog and the energy crashes around Zuhur time. Think eggs, full-fat Greek yogurt, nut butters, avocado, fish, baked fish, air-fried or baked chicken, etc. A small handful of pumpkin seeds is also excellent. They are rich in magnesium and zinc, both of which get depleted in the Wudu phase. And of course, date. I am sure that by now you have a whole lot of dates in your pantry or in your kitchen, lying on the dining table. Go grab them and use them. The sunnah of eating dates is not just spiritually grounding. It's wholesomely nutritious. Date provides natural sugars, potassium and magnesium, and iron. They are one of the best foods for this phase. At iftar, prioritize iron and complex carbohydrates. Fatigue in the Wudu phase is often worsened by low iron. It will be wise to include foods like lentils, beans, leafy greens like spinach, pairing up with some peppers, assorted peppers, and lean meat where you can. Remember to pair this with a source of vitamin C. Adding some lemon to your spinach or your iron-containing foods, drinking a cup of orange juice or pineapple juice can help your body absorb iron more effectively. And when it comes to hydration, sipping consistently is key. Don't rush it. And don't chug on water. Your goal between iftar and suhoor is steady hydration, not drinking a whole large amount right before fajr. Herbal teas like red raspberry leaf tea, chamomile, lemon balm, seeds like fennel and habbatus sauda, that is black seeds, can also support your uterine lining and reduce cramping in this phase. And sleep. I know this is hard, especially for new mothers. But in the Wudu phase, your body genuinely needs more rest than usual. Even a 20-minute nap between Zuhur and Asr can meaningfully change your focus and emotional state for the rest of the day. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ highly recommended taking power naps during the day. And that is kailula, like during the day before Asr, you take your nap, very short nap, or you are rejuvenated to continue with the rest of the day. This is the part I really want to sit with you on for a moment. Ramadan culture, mashallah, pushes us towards more, doing more Quran, more nawafil, more dhikr, more tarawih. And that energy is beautiful. Honestly, that is what it's supposed to be. But if you are in your Wudu phase and you are measuring your Ramadan worship by how much you have completed, you will reach the end of this month feeling like you fell short. And that's not the experience that you want and not the experience that Allah intends for you. So as a mama, here is how I want you to approach intentional worship in this phase. Quality of presence over quantity of action. And I'll explain. Making just 2 raka'at where you are truly there, like soul to soul there, where you are whispering to Allah, where the words are actually landing in your chest and coming from the soul. That is more valuable than rushing through 12 raka'at while your mind is scattered. Slow down, say Allahu Akbar, and mean it. Contemplate on the meaning. Reflect on what you're saying. Let each prayer, dhikr, and everything else that you embody and say and whisper be complete with meaning and reflection and tadabbur. Yes. Use your emotional sensitivity as a door. In the Wudu phase, you are more emotionally open. When you feel that softness in dua, don't suppress it. Visualize it. Say it out loud. Whisper it. Anyhow you're going to do to actually feel it, do it. Cry if you need to. Allah loves the dua of a heart that is present. This phase of your cycle can be one of your most powerful times to ask. I want you to also make dhikr a constant. Like literally, every time you start thinking about something, you engage yourself with anything that is not very beneficial, just switch back and start making dhikr. No matter where you are, no matter how the situation is, start whispering in your heart and in your mind the dhikr. Astaghfirullah al-azim. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna should be something that is soft on your tongue. It's easy to say, but it carries a whole lot of weight. When Quran reading feels hard, fill the space of your day with zikr, lots and lots of it. Walhamdulillah. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Allahumma innaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anna. Saying subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar, with every thought of somebody, even because sometimes we overburden ourselves with thinking about things that are out of our control. So come back to your body and always say this. Really actually helps. It distracts you from all the negative thoughts that sometimes overpowers us. Set up one worship intention each day. Instead of a long list of goals, choose one meaningful act and commit to it fully. Maybe it's Fajr with complete focus and khushu. Maybe it's a specific dua you make with your whole heart. Just one sincere, complete act. That is your anchor for the day. And I want to go a little deeper on the emotional sensitivity piece because there is a specific reason for it that most people don't explain. One of your brain's key chemicals for feeling calm, focused, and stable is serotonin. However, estrogen that supports serotonin activity in your brain starts to decrease in the Wudu phase. When estrogen drops, serotonin activity drops with it. Your brain is powerful. It notices this and it starts looking for ways to bring that level back quickly. Normally, that might be food, something sweet, something warm, something comforting, and a fast hit of relief. I've been there and I know you've been there. Just that sometimes some women don't recognize that. You tend to start craving some sweet, some warmth when you are in your Wudu phase. And that is as a result of dip in estrogen. Serotonin is a major hormone that increases some of the feeling good effect in your body. When estrogen goes down, serotonin also follows. It goes down, right? So that feeling okay, feeling happy, and all of that beautiful mood is now decreased. And you start to gravitate and crave for quick fixes to actually boosts up that feeling good effect, and that can be food, that can be other things. But in Ramadan, you are actually fasting. And this is where something happens that I really want you to understand, because it is quietly affecting your worship in ways you might not have connected yet. When your body cannot reach for food, it reaches for the next available quick fix. And right now, that quick fix is almost always your phone. Social media gives your brain a fast, easy hit. A new post, a notification, a scroll. It feels like relief in the moment. And your brain, already running low on serotonin, going back for more. But here is what doom scrolling actually does to you, especially in the Wudu phase during Ramadan. Piece of distraction or stimulating content that you consume activates a part of your brain called amygdala, your brain's threat detection center. When the amygdala is firing, your nervous system shifts into a low-level stress response, and your capacity for quiet moments and focus, the kind you need to stand in salah, to sit with the Quran, to make sincere dua, gets smaller and smaller. Now try to go from 30 minutes of scrolling directly to salah with full presence. I don't think that is feasible. Your brain has just been moving at high speed through dozens of pieces of content. The stillness of worship feels unreachable because your nervous system is overstimulated. This is one of the quietest way Ramadan easily slips by, through your phone in your hands and your brain that is desperately looking for something to fill the gap. Before worship can feel like worship, your nervous system needs stillness and calm. So sister, if you have been struggling to feel focused and present in your salah and Quran, look at what you were doing in the 20 minutes before you prayed. That is where your attention is going. One of the beautiful things that you can do also is make wudu and try to be in wudu, not just for salah, but for your nervous system. But I want you to also understand what is happening in your body when you make wudu. When cold water touches your face, your hands, there's something called parasympathetic nervous system that starts to activate. This is your rest and calm response, the direct opposite of your stressed state your body has been sitting in. The part of your brain that was overstimulated starts to calm down and to quiet down. Allah prescribed wudu as a preparation for meeting Him in prayer and salah, and it also turns out it is one of the most grounding things you can do for a scattered, overstimulated mind. So in the Wudu phase, when your emotions are elevated and your nervous system is out of it, make wudu and be in wudu. When you start to feel the overwhelm building and you've been on your phone for too long, go make wudu. Let that touch of water bring you back. So sister, I want to leave you with this. Ramadan comes to us wherever we are, in whatever state our bodies are, and the seasons of life that we are navigating and moving through. You don't need to be at 100% to have a meaningful Ramadan. You need to be honest about where you are. If you are in your Wudu phase right now, your version of a productive Ramadan might look quieter and different than someone else's. It might look like going to bed early because you cannot just hold on. So if you find yourself doing half Taraweeh instead of the full Taraweeh, sleeping through reading Quran, that version is still yours. It's still between you and Allah. Remember, Allah is going to reward you. He says He will reward Ramadan. And the last thing, one thing I want to encourage you to do is to start tracking your cycle so that inshallah next Ramadan, with health and life, you can plan around your phases from the beginning rather than figuring it out halfway through. If this video helped you, please share it with a sister who is struggling right now and doesn't know why. And if you want more support navigating your cycle, your nutrition, fertility, pregnancy, and postpartum, subscribe, because this is exactly what we talk about here. My free trimester specific grocery guide is linked in the description box below. There's nutrition, sunnah, and prophetic food ideas and guidance in there that is relevant even if you are not pregnant or trying to conceive. Jazakallahu khairan for watching. Inshallah, I will see you in the next video. Do watch this video that talks about the major signs of ovulation when you're trying to be pregnant.